Prices are going down a lot. PC parts are more affordable now than they've been in the last 3 years, contrary to the spooky inflation numbers. Let's see the best computer you can build for $700. So you don't have a computer like this, we're starting with the Deepcool Matrexx mid-tower case. In any budget like this, every extra dollar you spend on the case, the less you have for the more important parts. With addressable RGB fans along with the tempered glass side panel, it's the best you're going to get at this price point. To utilize the addressable RGB fans, we have the ASRock B450M Steel Edge motherboard. Not only does this motherboard look really nice, it has everything you need for only $90. Its I/O consists of 7 USB ports, 5 of which that are USB 3.1, and it comes with a USB-C port and gigabit LAN. This motherboard does not come with Wi-Fi, so if you're not going to have access to an Ethernet cable, here are 2 cheap and solid options that you can choose from. Next, we need to buy storage. We hate hard drives with a passion, so we chose the 1TB Team Group MP33 M.2. We really wanted to get a PCIe Gen 4 M.2, but we chose to spend that extra money on the CPU and the GPU. But that doesn't mean that this M.2 is bad. It still has a read speed of 1800 megabytes per second and a write speed of 1500 megabytes per second, which is more than enough for this system. When it comes to RAM, it doesn't really matter what brand you choose. As long as it has decent ratings on Newegg, you're pretty much good to go. In our case, we chose 16 gigs of 3200 MHz silicon power RAM in a 2x8 configuration. The only reason we chose it was because it was one of the cheapest options. Deals on RAM change every single day, so when you go onto Newegg, use the filters to pick DDR4, then 3200 MHz per second or above, and 16 gigabytes. Then sort by lowest price and take your pick. To power this system, we picked the Thermaltake Smart BX1 750 watt Brown certified power supply. That was a mouthful. It's nothing special, but it will give you some room for expandability and won't light your entire house on fire. And honestly, that's all we can ask for from a $55 power supply. The only 2 parts of this build that we chose to buy used were the CPU and the GPU. While on this type of budget, finding good deals on used parts will save you a good amount of money in almost every scenario. The CPU we chose was the Ryzen 7 3700X. It has 8 cores and 16 threads, and for $168, it's an absolute steal, especially when you look at the price of what they're selling for new. The deal that we found also came with the CPU cooler, so that is something that we don't need a budget for. Also, promo codes and rebates are a great way to save money when you're buying new parts, so if you see the opportunity, take it, and use that extra money towards other components. Now for the final piece. Well, pieces, because we found 2 good deals that we liked. First, we have the GTX 1080. Yes, we know it's an old card, but considering it's almost as strong as a 3060 and it's half the price, we think it will do. The second GPU we chose was the RTX 2060. This is a bit weaker than the GTX 1080, but with perks like RTX voice and ray tracing capabilities, it's not a bad option. Also, just because it's capable of ray tracing, that doesn't mean it's a good idea.